Hello and welcome back, shooting and broadcasting from El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Charisma in the heart of Riviera Maya. Now I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered if there is life on Mars? Have we any idea on what may represent, if we actually considered that this was true, could cause or even impact on mankind if there was life on Earth, on Mars? We may not be able to give you the answer to those questions yet, but there is definitely a breakthrough. Dr. Rafael Navarro Gonzalez is a Mexican scientist that has made a substantial contribution into discovering methane on the Martian atmosphere. A groundbreaking finding indeed, which may hint at the possibility of life on this red planet. Dr. Rafael Navarro Gonzalez obtained his BSc in biology back in the year 1983 from the National Autonomous University of Mexico and his PhD in chemistry in 1989 from the University of Maryland at College Park. His current research interests focus on the origin and evolution of life on Earth and other planetary environments. Dr. Navarro Gonzalez is active in future space missions to Mars and Europa and in terraforming Mars. His latest work includes being a fundamental part of the team of scientists that make up the Mars Science Laboratory, who have made a surprising discovery. The Curiosity robot, currently being used by the United States National Aeronautics and Space Administration, better known as NASA, to explore the surface of Mars and take samples, which has discovered a fluctuating source of methane. But what does this exactly mean for mankind? Tiny microorganisms that habit Earth, called methanogens, produce approximately 90% of the methane emissions in our atmosphere. Some of these organisms are anaerobic, which means they do not need oxygen to live, and therefore can be found in closed caverns or buried deep in the ground. The presence of methane on the fourth planet's atmosphere is itself no guarantee of life. Volcanic activity is, for example, one possible source. According to Dr. Navarro, these emissions could also be caused by chemical reactions right beneath the subsoil that leave hydrocarbon trapped in cracks. It is possible then that following some form of tectonic movement, gas would definitely be liberated onto the Earth's atmosphere. Now, with this in mind, the second option we have would also constitute a significant find, as there is no history of a tectonic or volcanic activity on Mars up to today. But what is the next step into this staggering discovery? At the very least, this discovery means that there is still much to learn from activity on the red planet, which is why NASA has already programmed its next mission to Mars for the year 2016. The InSight space probe will be sent carrying a built-in seismograph with the purpose of studying the climate and geology of Mars. In the year 2008, NASA sent Phoenix, the space probe that, among other discoveries, found ice on the planet's surface. The current Curiosity Explorer carries a built-in laboratory known as the Sample Analysis at Mars, which is called SAM at its time, the design of which Dr. Navarro Gonzalez was definitely involved in. The UNAM scientists anticipated that NASA is already looking for the new routes to be covered, either by Curiosity or its successor, which should be sent to Mars in the year 2020. Dr. Navarro stated that for the moment it is not possible to determine the source of the methane's emissions. However, he highlighted that the importance of this entire discovery is revealing the previously unknown activity on this planet. The relevance of upcoming missions would be to clarify the discovery is related to a chemical, geological, or even biological process. Now, in other news, through time, some people have dreamed of new alternatives to make our lives easier. They have surprised the entire world at uncountable times by dreaming about their creations and, what is more important, by daring to make their dreams come true. Therefore, we present you these 5 Mexican inventions you were probably not aware of. First off on the list, rocket belt. Juan Lozano, a Mexican inventor that was highly obsessed with jetpacks since he was a child, created the rocket belt, a device strapped onto the user's back in order to fly or leap short distances landing upright. Through the creation of Tecnología Aeroespacial Mexicana, Lozano commercializes this amazing device. Juan Manuel Lozano has worked with hydrogen peroxide propulsion systems ever since the year 1975 and is now the inventor of the most popular machine in the entire world. He offers information on how to produce your very own hydrogen peroxide to be used as rocket fuel. Next up, and crawling up at number 2, we have the one and only color television. There are lots of people involved in the invention of the television. In fact, if we look at history itself, it is said that the very first precedent is Galileo's telescope, even though it wasn't until Paul Nipkow who created the Nipkow disc, and later the iconoscope by Vladimir Svirnovin. And Philo Taylor, Farnsworth, all of them were crucial at the invention and development of this magnificent device. Up until the year 1925, a Scottish inventor, John Logie Baird, succeeded in creating the first real transmission experiment. However, it wasn't until 1940 that Mexican engineer Guillermo González Camarena created the color television system. 2 years later, on September 15, 1942, he obtained the patent number 2296019, and on August 31, 1946, he was able to broadcast in color from his laboratory in Mexico City. On number 3, we have book-on-demand technology, Instabook. Mexican writer, inventor, and entrepreneur Victor Celorio is a visionary man considered as one of the most prominent Latin American inventors. Ever since the early 80s, he foresaw the arrival of internet, and later, in the same decade, he created a digital network of on-demand printing centers throughout Mexico City. His lifelong love for books led him to the creation of Instabook, the company in charge of delivering the book-on-demand technology. Mr. Celorio was granted the U.S. patent 6012890 and 6213703 for his invention, which support the ebook distribution by quickly and elegantly printing an offline copy. And at number 4, the first oral contraceptive was created by who else but a Mexican. Back in the year 1951, Dr. Miramontes was a college student who worked at a Syntex corporation, collaborating with researcher Carl Georgesi. His research as a chemist took him to write a new procedure for the synthesis of a substance called progestin, norethindrone, what soon became the active ingredient in the very first oral contraceptive of mankind. On May 1st, 1956, Syntex Corporation, the company he was working with, received the patent number 2744122 for the very first oral contraceptive, which is named Norinil. And last but not least, a staggering diagnosis Mexican science has also innovating in the field of medicine and taken a huge leap, and token of this is Dr. Maria del Socorro Flores González, who won the MEXWI 2006 award for her work on diagnostic methods for invasive amoebiasis. While approximately 500 million people worldwide suffer from invasive amoebiasis, over 100,000 of them die every year due to this parasitic disease. After 20 years of research, the Mexican doctor and her team discovered how to diagnose amoebiasis more effectively, and this was validated for 300 medical authorities. We'll be right back after the break.